So hello everybody, this is my new rant. The bottom line in markets is there's only one call you really have to make, and that is which way is the market going. Because if you're in a bull market and you're short, you're going to lose money. If you're in a bull market and you're long sensible stocks, you're going to make money. If you're in a bear market and you're long in sensible stocks, it's really hard to make money. If you're in a bear, well, you're going to lose. So you really can't fight the market direction. So you really should be asking yourself on and off, which way is the market going in general? If you're not asking that question, either one of two things is in your mind. One, it's just going up. I don't care. It's always going to go up. It's going to go up forever. And that's the buy and hold position. Buy, hold, buy the dip. It's always going to be going up. So it should always be long and, dollar cost average. And when it slumps, just buy more from your reserves and just sit there, buy, hold forever, and you'll be fine. And that has proven to be very correct over a very long period of time. Now, of course, the trend is your friend to the bend in the end, but, it's down to old pessimists to keep saying, it's going to crash, it's going to crash, it's going to crash. And of course, if you look back at the past and you had buy and hold, none of those crashes really added up to much. However, if you're watching this, you're probably not a buy and hold, buy the dip, go to sleep, come back in 20 years and find that you've got a lot of money sort of person. You're somebody that worries about the dips and doesn't want to be in at a crash and is watching the market heavily. The big question for you and for me is, which way is the market going? Are we going to crash? Now, in the past, I've been very, very fortunate to get out at the top before lots of past crashes. And sometimes I've got out at a top that's almost been a crash and not been a crash. So probably out of about 4 crashes since 2000, there's been a couple of false alarms, but getting out at the top and in at the bottom has been very, very profitable for me. And you'll see recently with the tariff crash, I was out before it crashed and I did kind of squeeze back in, not quite near at the bottom, but kind of there and abouts. But I didn't get back into the old stuff. I got back into different sets of equities when I did that. I pivoted out of normal stocks into precious metals and into defense stocks. And that wasn't such a great move to begin with. But now precious metals and defense stocks have caught up with a bounce in normal stocks. So that came through. But nonetheless, I'm always looking to make sure I'm not going to be in the market at a top before a crash. And missing those things, if you get in at the bottom, is very, very profitable. But let's not think about that right now. Let's think about the basics. Which way is the market going? Now, the bottom line for the market in the world really is the NASDAQ. That is the biggest market, most exciting market, the one that everybody follows, the one that has all the superstars in it. And the NASDAQ is the banner holder of the whole global stock market and, of course, the US market. That's where the FANGs live, the trillion-dollar companies live. That's where all the excitement is. So the question is not which way the market's going, but which way the NASDAQ's going. Let's have a look at the chart and discuss where it looks like it's going. So here is a medium-term chart. And it goes back to 2023. Most people would say that's a long-term chart, but I call it a medium-term chart. Now you see the trend is pretty clear. You've got that tariff crash and you've got that amazing return, which I believe to be engineered by the American government. And now you can see it's back on the short-term, medium-term trend. So you can see 2 trends there, and you can see where they cross, and they cross in the not too distant future. And then you would kind of expect the market to carry on along that trend. Now, last year, before the tariff crash, I was saying that although the NASDAQ was high, it was in boom territory, but not bubble territory. And that it was going to go into a bubble, and that bubble would be, incredible or amazing, pretty dangerous, pretty lucrative, potentially disastrous. Because what happens when a boom goes into a bubble is people get overcommitted. And it goes up and it goes up and they make huge amounts of money and they get more and more confident and they get more excited and they get more ecstatic and they get more committed and then bang, down it goes and they get wiped out. That's what happens in boom bubble crashes. And you can see that in Bitcoin only a few days ago, when a kind of second wave of the tariff crash occurred, and Bitcoin slumped from, I think, $124,000 a coin down to like 103 on certain platforms. And of course, everybody's stocks got blown out, and billions were lost. And all those overconfident geniuses in Bitcoin who had made millions, a lot of them completely lost their shirts. That's what happens in bubble markets. The way to handle bubble markets, first of all, is to know that you're in a bubble. That is the first thing. If you know you're in a bubble and you don't confuse the bubble with your brains, then you can make a lot of money, because you get out at some point. You don't think it's going to keep on going, and when it stops and starts to go down, you don't think it's going to recover, and you don't just sit there and get crushed. So here's a little commercial break. Now, as some of you will know, I've just started a website called NewFN, and currently it offers UK real-time prices. So if you're a UK user and you're into the stock market and watching it live, it's the site for you. Very, very new. We're building all sorts of things. It's absolutely alpha test, so you can come on and use it and play with it and have some fun and help us develop it going forward. Now, for watchers of my videos that want to have a interaction with me, want to have a chat, want to post a message and get me to reply, that's the place to go, anewfn.com, because I'm on there all the time, and when I see a message, I'll reply to it. Now, with YouTube comments, there's just a mountain of them, and it's quite difficult to reply. A, for some reason, I can't thumb up people in the comments, and B, if I've got 200 or 300 people saying, that's great, thank you very much, da 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 da, I can't, it's very difficult for me to respond on the YouTube comment format. It's really not built for it. But if you actually want to have an interaction, you want to pick my brains, or you want to make a point, if you go to a NewFN, there's a thread there, and I'm interacting with our user base, or will be, because it's only just went live like 2 hours ago. So if you want to chat, if you want to bat some ideas around, come to a NewFN, post on my thread, and we'll have an interaction. That is and in addition to that, if you want to see what I'm doing and all the other sort of things, like talking on places like Kitco and David Lean and Liberty in Finance, if you go to Twitter and you follow me at Clem Chambers, I'm probably putting it there somewhere, you never know, then you can follow me and you'll see all the latest stuff I'm rabbiting on about. It comes out. So go over there and follow me and you'll get updates. Anyway, back to which way the market's going now. Oh, actually, I'm an influencer. I have to do this tonight. Now. So are we in a bubble? And if we are in a bubble, what happens next? Because this chart says bubble, because bubbles go whoosh. And you can see one in gold right now. And when you're on that whoosh, you're in a bubble mode. If you're doing that, it's just the market. But when it goes vertical, parabolic, or whatever word you want to use, that's when you're in a bubble. So the question is, where is the top? Not, are we in a bubble or not? This market has gone from boom into bubble. Now, the trick is to spot where you think the top is going to be. So I won't comment on that, because I'll just be watching it and listening to the news and waiting for the sort of signals that say the top is in. And that's normally when everybody starts to say, Hosanna, it's awesome, it's going to go to 40,000, 50,000, 100,000, a million, billion, trillion. That is, for me anyway, the get ready to get out mode. But that's not here yet. It's not here for gold. It's probably here for Bitcoin. It's not yet here for the NASDAQ. There's ways to go. So these are the waves that we're going to be riding, and I'll be covering them all here. And I have skin in the game. So we're in NASDAQ bubble mode. We're in gold, precious metal bubble mode. Certainly for gold, certainly for silver. I don't think for platinum and palladium. We could be just at the very, very beginnings of a boom, and that would be followed by a bubble in US defense stocks. So it's very exciting times if you're an investor. Very exciting times if you're a trader. And there's a lot of money to be made in these volatile times. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and like and all that good stuff. I'll be back for another rant very soon. Bye now.